Afternoon, peeps. Good afternoon, everyone. How we all doing? Hopefully you guys are all doing well. Don't forget, hit that subscribe button. If you guys are new to the channel, don't forget as well to like and share the vids. All right, a couple of things before we have a look at the stories. First thing, I mentioned I wanted to do an end of year live. We were looking at doing it this Friday. Unfortunately, we're going to have to push it to next week as I have to go to Greece on Friday, lastminute.com. And second thing, you guys might remember I had a channel called Box Talk, especially the old school viewers would know, a channel called Box Talk with my friend Ryan. He has since relaunched the channel. He's doing some stuff with his son. Go and support. I'll put the link in the description. All right, let's have a look and see what there is to talk about from the world of boxing today. There should be quite a few stories. Let's start with this one. Shakur Stevenson says he may fight Kambosos next. That won't happen. Says Cruz and Zepeda turned him down. He's not going to fight Kambosos next. That's fact. Kambosos has tweeted that, look, I didn't turn you down because I'm scared of you. I'm just paraphrasing here. I turned you down because it's been a busy last couple of years. I want to spend some time with my family, go away, and I'll see you at the end of 2023. So it won't be Kambosos next. But I like that tweet from Kambosos because, look, Kambosos has had a very, very good run in the last couple of years. Clearly isn't a ducker of anyone, right? Shakur Stevenson obviously would be a big favourite, but Kambosos has fought some good people, win or lose. And I feel like he does deserve a bit of a break. With regards to Cruz and Zepeda turning him down, it might come down to, with Shakur Stevenson, this risk-reward factor. Shakur's a very, very good fighter. Obviously, he's not the biggest of draws yet. So the reward for fighting Shakur at 135, yes, it's the scalp of Shakur, but there is no belt. You're not going to get paid that much money, again, because Shakur is not that big draw yet. So unless they're offering Isaac Cruz and Zepeda big money, they probably are going to say, well, no, thank you. They probably will do that. So, yeah, unless Top Rank can find some big backers from somewhere, it's going to be quite difficult to get him an opponent. He will fight someone, but it might not be what we want. It might not be. Cecilia Braekhus, she's back in the ring this weekend. I thought she retired after the last fight. She's 41 now, Cecilia Braekhus. Not quite sure what the want is to get back in the ring. I'm not sure. I've always tried to understand the psyche of boxers that just don't want to give it up. And it's difficult. It's difficult. It isn't just the money. Sometimes it's the adulation. Sometimes they just miss that walk into the ring. Sometimes it's all they've been doing. I think Kell Brook spoke about this. It's all they've been doing for the last 25 years. They don't know what else to do. But I do feel sorry for Cecilia just because she almost missed this and just missed this sort of boom of female boxing. Like, this isn't discrediting what she did because she's got some good wins under her victory. But you think like female boxing's gone like that in the last 18 months. Like we started to see some really, really big fights doing big numbers, a lot of interest. And she just missed that, didn't she? Those back-to-back defeats with Jessica McCaskill. Like, if she won those, there was talks about her having a fight with Clarissa Shields. That would have been one of her big moments. She didn't. And unfortunately, she's now back. Again, I'm not quite sure what she's chasing. I know it's an 8-rounder, so it might just be a case of seeing if I've still got it. And if she has still got it, she is a name, but at 41, she's clearly 5-6 years past her prime. So, yeah, I'm not quite sure. Josh Taylor, Catterall rematch will be a massively different outcome. I think so as well. And this isn't sort of disrespecting Jack Catterall. I think we saw the talent, right? It's there. I do think Josh had an off night. I mean, I'm not going to say, I'm going to call it an off night just because of what Josh has done in the past 4 or 5 years. And I think we've seen how good he is. Number one at 140 pounds, won all the belts, undisputed. I'm not going to start to disrespect Josh because of one bad performance. I think he underrated, like we all did. Let's be honest. I think he underrated Jack Catterall. That being said, Jack's obviously got a good training set up with Jamie Moore and Nigel Travis, but I expect to see a very, very good Josh Taylor. My only worry for Josh is the weight. I mean, the weight was a problem when they fought a year ago, right? I mean, that was an issue. Like, you know, this is my last fight at 140. I'm going to go to 147. A year later, surely it's going to be even harder to make 140. So that's my only problem with regards to Josh. But I make Josh a big favourite in that fight. And if he does come through that, look, I don't think he's going to stay at 140, although he has mentioned Teofimo recently. Surely you go to 147 and get in the mix. Get right in the mix with Jaron Ennis, Virgil Ortiz, and the rest of them. In fact, Josh coming up as an undefeated, former undisputed champion, Josh might jump the queue and get some of the bigger names. Might get Terence. I'm not trying to say he beats Terence, but why? If you're Josh and you're a pound for pounder and you're unbeaten and you are former undisputed, I don't know about the want to fight Jaron and Virgil. You want to go for the big dog. And the big dog we know, I know anyway, is Terence Crawford. Otto Volin, staying sharp in camp, hopes to face Anthony Joshua next. Well, look, Eddie Hearn has said, look, he's not going to reveal a date for an AJ return or any possible opponents until Anthony Joshua sort out his training team. Let's talk about AJ and this training setup. Obviously, it's understood now that he's no longer going to be with Robert Garcia, and I think as it stands right now, he's in America. I don't know if he's doing what he did last time out, where he went to various camps and had a look and spoke to trainers, and then obviously in the end decided upon Robert Garcia. I'm not quite sure if it's that, but AJ is right now in America. I'm not a fan of him leaving Robert Garcia. Clearly not privy to what goes on behind the scenes, but I actually thought, and it's funny, I was talking to someone about this, although the scores were probably the same in both Usyk fights, I thought he looked a lot better in the second fight. A lot better. I thought he was a bit more aggressive, and that's what we asked. He hurt Usyk a couple of times. In the end, he was in there against a boxing genius as far as I'm concerned, but I thought he actually looked a lot better. So I was watching that, and one of my first thoughts was like, you know what, give AJ a couple more fight camps to Robert Garcia, and I think AJ is going to be right back to where I want him to be. So it's disappointing to know that there is no more Robert Garcia link up, because again, I like it. I like Robert Garcia. I think Robert Garcia is a very, very good trainer. His CV tells me he's a good trainer. There are a lot of people talking about the fact he's never trained a top elite heavyweight. I was like, that doesn't matter. He's trained boxers. He's a very good trainer, very experienced. And I spoke to him so many times in the lead up to that second Usyk fight, and he just speaks well. But obviously, look, something's gone on in camp where AJ has obviously decided he wants to go and look elsewhere. That will now be, and this is where the problems come now, that will be 3 trainers in 3 fights. That'll be it. Obviously, McCracken, the first Usyk fight, Robert Garcia, the second Usyk fight, and if it is Dillian White, it'll be a new trainer. It's not good. It's not good. This switching of trainers isn't good, because you it's almost like they strip you down again, don't they? And look, obviously AJ's a very good boxer, by the way, so I don't think there's that much to work on, but there's no doubt a new trainer is going to come in, have a look at what you're doing, and try and implement more new ideas. So, you know, you've got those 10 years with McCracken, and then Robert Garcia comes along and tries to change a few things, and does. I think we saw that. Now another trainer is going to come and try and change a few more things. It's too much. I think it's too much. I was speaking to Andy Lee. Was it Andy Lee? It was Andy Lee. Was talking about this sort of AJ situation. He said, you know who would have been really good for AJ? And I was like, who? I thought he was going to reveal something. Sugar Hill should. And I was like, oh. And it's true though. Sugar Hill would have been good for AJ. Like, one thing about these Sugar Hill camps, or at least the Fury camps, every time, you know, we see footage, they seem like they're having fun. It seemed like something that is so serious, they seem to be able to have fun doing it. And I feel like maybe that's what AJ's missing from his camp. Maybe it is just all serious business, and sometimes he just wants to have a bit more fun in camp. I'm not quite sure. And you know what? Maybe, look, you know, like, I think a lot of names have been chucked out. So many people have been chucking out names, and every name that's been chucked out is this like Hall of Fame trainer, you know, a trainer that's trained 17 world champions. You know, you look at Sugar Hill as an example. Sugar Hill clearly, obviously, comes with a name value, Emmanuel Stewart, we get that. But in terms of what he's done as a trainer, Sugar Hill's CV isn't that big. It's not that big. It's not that thick. So maybe there is a trainer out there like that. So not your typical names that, again, are being mentioned all the time. Maybe there is someone that's just a good fit for AJ that we don't know about. Someone that's just training a couple of low-key names as opposed to someone that's training all the big names, because there's been a lot of talk about go Errol Spence trainer or Charlo's in the same camp, and maybe he just doesn't need that. Maybe he doesn't need that. But look, again, we don't know what happened in camp, but I thought it was a good fit. I thought it was a very good fit. I thought AJ looked a lot better. I guess in a defeat, you try and sort of find the reasons for the defeat, and maybe they've just pointed at Robert Garcia as one of the reasons, like, you know what, didn't quite work. Where me sitting ringside, I was like, AJ looking good here, you know? I know people like to say things like, yeah, but the advice in the corner was a bit mixed. I just said AJ looking good. I'm not talking about the advice in the corner. I just thought, watching him, I thought he looked a lot sharper. He looked a lot lighter on his feet, a lot more aggressive. And again, 2 or 3 more fight camps with that guy there. I don't know. Bear in mind, we're coming up to January now. What are we, 3 weeks away from January? Less than that, 2.5 weeks. It was led to believe that AJ will be back out in March. If he's not got a new trainer, I doubt that. If he hasn't got a trainer yet, then, or maybe he does have, and we just don't know. I mean, AJ did this to us last time. Like, Robert Garcia got announced about, when was it? About 2 months before the Usyk fight. So Robert Garcia, I think, was officially announced in May or June. AJ had said that he'd been working with him since December. So maybe as it stands right now, AJ's actually with a trainer and he's trying to trick us, because Robert Garcia has been training AJ since December, yet AJ was still going around the houses. So maybe AJ is just trying to trick us all. He's doing something that way and we're looking that way. But we'll soon find out. Again, I would have preferred it to have still been Robert Garcia. Teofimo Lopez refutes that he's lacking confidence. I know I got it. Are you dumb? Look, we all saw what happened at the end of the fight. Maybe it was just a bit of honesty that inwardly a lot of fighters say to themselves, like, have I still got it? You know, especially when, you know, you go to the gym and sparring's good and you're doing all your numbers right, your sprints are good, your strength's good, you're eating well, everything is perfect, and then in the ring it just doesn't happen. I'm guessing a lot of fighters inwardly ask that question, like, what's going on? Like, I'm ticking all the boxes here. And maybe he just had that moment outwardly. And it's okay. We've all seen it. So when he refutes that he's lacking confidence, well, we saw a bit of it. So it's fine. You're human. Just knuckle down and we'll see what happens in the new year. Not a problem. Everlast takes responsibility for Crawford's busted up gloves from the Avanesium fight. Now, a lot of you would have seen these gloves. Embarrassing. Completely split. I mean, that's the worst advert for Everlast if there ever was one. That's it, right? I mean, you don't use Everlast gloves again then, do you? Horrendous. Obviously, Avanesian team aren't happy, and I think they're talking with the governing bodies and stuff about the gloves, saying that they didn't get to see the gloves beforehand, which I really, really do not believe. I mean, you do have that, you know, you have, everyone goes together and you select your gloves and both teams check them over. That happens. If that didn't happen, that's Avanesian's team's fault. That should happen. It's almost a bit like when Nazim Richardson went into Margarito's training room. Remember when the Margarito was getting gloved up and was like, whoa, 1 second, and checked everything, checked the padding and realised there was something wrong. Liam Smith done it recently with Kamal Haraja when he was fighting JJ Metcalf. You have to check gloves, check everything. If you haven't checked the gloves, that's on your team. It's not Commission's fault, not Crawford's fault, it's your team's fault. You've got to make sure in a fight of that magnitude that you check absolutely everything. A bit here on Devin Haney. Concerned with Ramadan at odds with Top Rank over Lomachenko fight day. Haney said he wanted it in February, I believe. No, March. Lomachenko wants it in May. What we do know, though, at least we know they're negotiating. So that almost indicates that this fight is going to be happening. It's going to happen. Just when, which is very, very good. Lomachenko is going to fight Devin Haney. That's fantastic. So look, you look at the 135 division. I mean, providing that Ryan and Javante get past what they've got to do in January, They're fighting in the summer. We now know that Haney's going to fight Lomachenko. I mean, it's really, really good. All that we need now is someone to step up and fight Shakur Stevenson. But at least we're getting the fights. Can't complain too much with that. All right, I think that's it. Guys, have a nice weekend. We're doing videos daily anyway, but if I don't, have a good weekend. But something will happen and I'll get to the studio and talk about it. Peace and love.